I'm Professor Art Alvarado. I'm 37 years old. I'm a first-degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I kind of started Jiu Jitsu late. I was around 22 years old, and but up to that point, I had wrestled in high school a little bit, but I was really into like the bodybuilding scene, and I don't know, I had these aspirations to compete as a bodybuilder. So I was watching Pump and Iron all the time, and one thing I realized during that time of my life, I was probably the most insecure. When you train martial arts, you kind of change as a person. You become more humble, more respectful of other people. You also learn how to defend yourself, which in turn gives you, confidence. Training in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu specifically, there was an even added confidence because it actually worked. The qualities you learn in training, like I said, being humble, hard work, you got to work hard. Ego, leave it at the door. Confidence, understanding, persistence, that's what helps people in their personal lives. Plus it gives you, some people find things in life and it gives purpose. I think it gave me purpose, and it made me realize something that I like to do, which is help people.
Jiu-Jitsu is ever evolving, it's always growing, there's always new things, there's always challenging things about it. You're never gonna master Jiu-Jitsu. And that's the people who succeed the most in Jiu-Jitsu are the people who realize that you should stay a white belt forever in a way, and keep that attitude, because you're never going to completely master Jiu-Jitsu. And that's the one thing about me, is it's always challenged me. I've never got bored with it. I've never, felt that, hey, this is too simple, time for me to move on. And it's always brought me back. And that's the one thing about Jiu-Jitsu that I love.
The difference between a black belt and a white belt is the black belt never quit. He never stopped coming. He just keeps coming. It might take him 10 years or 8 years or whatever it takes, but as long as you keep coming, you will achieve whatever goal. It's called consistency. You do that, you're eventually going to achieve your goals. What's funny is sometimes I tell my students, once you sign up with me, it's like having a wife. I know when you're not here. I know when you are. And then they, if I don't see them for a while, I say, hey, where you been? And don't lie to me. So I bug people, but they can't expect to be good and get promotions if they're not here. Don't if you want to be good at something, you have to put your time in.
It's not about fighting. It's about how you can handle yourself outside the mats without fighting. There's some times where you don't need to fight. You use this jiu-jitsu to overcome the challenges in your life.
I've had adults tell me, oh my God, man, this guy came up to me and he was being rude to my girlfriend or rude to me or whatever, and I had to defend myself, and that to me, and it worked. It was just like in class, and that's the biggest reward, is that, like I said, this stuff works. And when I see people actually utilizing it, or it might not even be a fight. It might be to say, hey man, you know what? I had the confidence to go and tell this guy, he got in my face, and I had the confidence to stand up to him. And the guy turned away. I didn't have to throw a punch. Or it might be, you know what, Art? My training, that I had to do this presentation for work. But because of my confidence that I achieved through class, I was able to have the confidence to do that presentation better than I thought I could. A goal for my students is not just to make them better martial artists or jiu-jitsu practitioners, but also make them better people, which means I don't want arrogance. If you're going to be a part of this school, you got to be a part of a team. And if, those that aren't, they slowly get weeded out because it's not tolerated here. There's no, I just don't allow that to happen. Because it affects it's kind of like a virus. It'll spread, and I just don't let that happen. You know, so it's just a combination of being like I said, a very well-versed practitioner, but also, like I said, there has to be a change in or an improvement in the person, the person themselves. It happens, you know, it happens all the time, and that, to me, that's why I do this.